People are talking about an injury that V got in the military. We also have Get Well Soon trending and people talking about that, as well as the military apparently believed to have confirmed something. So dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Let's get into it. The military recently is believed to have confirmed Jimin and JK's relationship. The rumors kind of spread around this idea that if the two are apparently seeming like they're married now, what is it going to look like after the military? What type of stuff are we going to get? Because back when they were not enlisted, people felt like any little tiny interaction they had was a sign of them being in a relationship together or what have you. And then now they believe that since the two have been in the military together, they're exhibiting alleged signs of marriage, that they're going to start showing marriage signs after the military. It's very interesting because a lot of the marriage moments that people are talking about are just things like Jimin and JK sending wreaths to a label and congratulating them, and people believing that only married couples do that. Other things are like the fact that they even enlisted together or that they're just hanging out and having fun together. However, a lot of these things are simply just pure speculation, and I don't know how it ends up getting twisted into this belief that they are married. Marriage licenses are public and they have to be public, so anyone can simply Google that and check if they're married or not. As of right now, none of the members are married, and I don't think that that is going to change anytime soon. I think there definitely is a huge part of the community that genuinely believes that the two are married, not that they're just acting like a married couple or that they're pretending to be married, but that they genuinely are married. And I don't think that they realize that marriage certificates are public. And you know very well, if they were publicly married, this would be huge news. Every single news outlet would report on it. It would be a very big deal. However, one thing that I will say that I'm excited for is just to genuinely see what type of content is going to come out after the military. While I don't believe that the two are married, I do believe that the two are often engaging in fan service. I believe them putting out content while they're in the military, like the reality show Are You Sure? And a bunch of other things that they've done has resulted in people fantasizing over the two together, or in other words, fan service. I'm excited to see more of this because while I don't necessarily know if any of the members are together romantically, I still enjoy watching those moments, which, by the way, if you are interested in checking out some of those moments, I have reacted to Are You Sure? As well as several other BTS reality shows over on Patreon. We have a great time fangirling, laughing, and just overall enjoying the art of music videos and reality shows. So if you're interested, there is a link at the top of the description. And make sure you sign up, and of course, I hope to see you over there. There's, of course, a lot of people who have been wondering what's going on in the military and if the boys are okay. And to a certain extent, the boys are definitely okay. Every now and then we will hear that they have endured some sort of injury. This of course makes sense because they're not playing around with pillows or cotton balls. They are quite literally playing around with weapons, and injuries can definitely happen. But even if they're not playing around with weapons, they are exercising the way that they do, running around, all of that sort of stuff. That can obviously result in some sort of injury. However, I guess the main issue with a celebrity getting injured versus maybe someone like you and me who might not necessarily rely on their face for a living, just be exactly that they would need to have a face for their job. And I guess to a certain extent you can say that I would need my face, but I could also just talk. And I'm sure a lot of you are here for me talking and not necessarily here to see my face. Whereas the BTS members definitely do need their face to have a career because that's a huge part of being a celebrity. V recently posted a bunch of photos, and there were photos from the military. So we got to see a bunch of his poses as well as his friends taking pictures and things and posting it. And we really got to see that he's having a great time in the military. There were some photos that seemed a bit more like CCTV footage, and I wasn't exactly sure how they got that footage, but this is definitely something I would raise a red flag to. Obviously, I'm assuming nothing actually happened and everyone's okay because these photos, I believe, were taken a long time ago. But then they're just like, let me post it now. But definitely it's interesting if CCTV footage of the boys entering a shop or whatever is being leaked. Interestingly enough, every time I see photos of the boys hanging out or doing something outside of the military in their uniform, they're often not around security. However, they're also in their uniform and likely have weapons on them, so they're their own security. But anywho, we're getting sidetracked here. There was one photo in which V took where it seemed like he was showing off this injury on his face. There's a little bit of a red mark and then a scar on his upper cheek. It looked like a scar that you would get in a movie where it's just like perfectly placed on the face and it looks beautiful. Anyway, the photo showed how red his face was at that moment. A lot of people were very upset seeing this. I really just want to emphasize that V could not have gone through the entire military enlistment and expected to not get injured at least once. And the injury that we are seeing now is a small cut on the face, which is nowhere near as bad as it could be. So I hope that kind of relieves some people and have people not really freak out about this. Some people were concerned that he might have been rushed to the ER or he might need some sort of medical help, and I'm sure the military has their own medical help. And for something like this, it appears to just be a flesh wound. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. He's not in front of me. I can't examine him, but from the looks of it, it looks like a small cut, and that just means that they just had to disinfect it, put a Band-Aid over it, if he even wanted a Band-Aid over it. We definitely should not be freaking out over stuff like this. In fact, I think it is extremely normal and expected. I would be a little bit more weary if they didn't get any injuries, because then I would assume that the boys are actually not doing the training that they're supposed to be doing. And in which case I would say just leave the military then, because they're not doing the training anyway. But this way we see that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they're actually active in the military, which of course is the best thing for them. Because if they're just going to be gone for a year and a half, they should definitely make the most of it and use their time wisely, which it seems like V and potentially some of the other members definitely have. Now, going back a little bit on the people that were concerned, there were a bunch of people who were taking photos that V posted previously where you could see scars, and a bunch of other things to basically say that they were proud of V, and that it seemed like he was getting a lot of injuries. This was fine. I think people reacted kind of appropriately to this, but there were definitely a lot of people who were concerned after V wrote a post on Weverse talking about his condition right now. He responded to a comment that someone left, basically saying that he's not going to lie about the fact that he did get a little bit injured. Now, of course, people have taken some of the photos that he's posted and kind of made the assumption that the little injury might be a cut on his face or it might be bruises that he's got and stuff like that. Then the internet started trending, "Get well soon, V." I thought this was very cool and this was very nice of the community to do, but it definitely wasn't necessary because I don't think he was in any serious injuries. But it was very cool to see the community show their support like this. There were a lot of people who were very worried because they were saying that it seemed like V wasn't taking care of himself, and they were very scared. Now, there is definitely a huge difference between not taking care of yourself, being careless with yourself, versus being in the military. Because if you go to a more extreme example to really push the point, in my opinion, it's the same as being in a war and then people saying, you need to take care of yourself after you get injured. Like, expect that if you're going to a war that you're probably going to die. Like, you might not, but I think everyone going into a war should have that mindset of, oh, I'm probably going to die. But it's the same way as being in training in the military. It's not that you're going to die during training, that's not likely, but you will probably get injured. And V made sure to say that the injury was a little injury. So we don't know if it was something like he sprained his arm or he got a little bit of a cut and there was a lot of blood, but it was just like a scrape, you know what I mean? But it is, of course, cool to see the community care so much and to have such a reaction, because that means that it really matters whether he gets hurt or not. However, I hope the community going forward won't have such a heart attack. I mean, if you dig a little bit deeper, I have no doubt that you would find someone who's saying that they lost sleep over the fact that V got a little bit injured. These would not be comments that I would be shocked to see, because these would be comments that I have seen before. And while you should care and you should love the people that you watch and support, you definitely should not be losing sleep over them having a little bit of an injury. Like, I can see you losing sleep over a favorite celebrity passing, but I can even see you crying if your favorite celebrity passed, but not losing sleep over an injury that likely didn't even require surgery or anything like that. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks, just leave a comment right here. Love you, bye.